now, Pennsylvania Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, a Democratic member of the House Judiciary and Financial Services Committees, and she is also the co-author of Under Our Roof, A Son's Battle for Recovery, a Mother's Battle for Her Son, for which we had a wonderful conversation a while back. Anyway, welcome, my friend. Let's get to these new reports about what we were just hearing from Monica Alba, really getting some swift backlash here. In fact, your Democratic colleague Ted Lieu says this is an attack, a direct attack on the First Amendment by the Trump Justice Department. And former White House counsel John Dean says it is way beyond Nixon at his worst. You want to weigh on this? What's your reaction?
Well, first of all, Alex, very good to be with you this Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to you and all the mothers out there. It is extraordinarily troubling, but probably not surprising, that the Trump White House actually seized the personal phone calls, the professional phone calls, the phone records of the Washington Post reporters for 3.5 months. Think of that. And this was done under Attorney General Barr's auspices. Of course, the Attorney General had nothing to say about that, but what this administration and this Department of Justice is doing is shining a bright light on what I think is very mischievous behavior of the Trump administration's Department of Justice.
Well, and here's another big DOJ-related story I want to talk with you about. We have federal judge Amy Berman Jackson, who ruled that former AG Bill Barr was disingenuous about the process behind his decision to issue a memo clearing Trump on obstruction of justice charges. And she ordered the DOJ to release a memo that Barr claimed had informed that decision, a memo that he said contained advice from top DOJ officials. So Judge Berman Jackson, writing in part, the review of the document reveals that the Attorney General was not then engaged in making a decision about whether the president should be charged with obstruction of justice. The fact that he would not be prosecuted was a given. So the question has to be asked, was justice served?
Of course not. But thank goodness for this judge's report and this judge's opinion. Calling Attorney General Barr disingenuous in a very blistering opinion and saying that the memo should be released. You saw also in the month of March, another judge, federal judge Reggie Walton, said that Mr. Barr lacked credibility and candor. We've been saying that all along. You remember, just 2 days after the Mueller report was released to the Attorney General at that time, he came out with a strange, incoherent, frankly, press conference saying there was nothing to see here, and then delivered to the heads of both judiciaries committee, both House and Senate, a 4-page letter saying the same thing, misinforming the American public. I said at that time he had sanitized, simplified, and really misled the American public with that 4-page letter. And then it took, I think, 28 days for him to release a redacted Mueller report. The judges are both right. Mr. Barr has no credibility. He had no credibility then. And we will get to the truth of the matter. But in the meantime, what has been done to the folks at DOJ and to the American public in terms of disinformation is powerfully dangerous. And sadly, those seeds we're seeing come to fruition even today.
So clearly this is serious. Can anything be done now about it?
Certainly. And I look forward to Attorney General Merrick Garland doing exactly what they are doing, being transparent under the rule of law, not as a department that represents a president or a person, but as a department that represents the rule of law for all America. So yes, we will get to the truth of it. Sadly, it takes a lot of time when you have a lot of complicit elected officials who like to continue to spread big lies. But we will get to the bottom of it. Thankfully, we have a new administration that actually prizes the rule of law.
Let's take a look now to January 6th, of course, the Capitol attack there. NBC News is reporting that the FBI is still after the, quote, worst of the worst in the riot, rather, even as new arrests come at a steady pace. Are lawmakers concerned, Congresswoman, that the worst of the worst are still out there? Is this at all personal for any of you?
I certainly worry for all of our safety, and until every single one who was in any way responsible for the attack by Americans on a joint session of Congress, I won't be at ease. We have to seek justice for those insurrectionists who came and attacked our Capitol, attacked maimed, wounded, and killed Capitol Police. This is something that is incredibly serious. That's why I support the independent commission. I don't understand, frankly, Alex, why every single lawmaker, whether they were in that Capitol or not, regardless of party, wouldn't say, of course we have to understand what happened here so that it never happens again. We have to bring them all to justice.
So if a January 6th commission is formed, will House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, is he going to have to testify about his call with Donald Trump on that day, January 6th?
I would hope so, and I would think he should welcome it. Again, it's information for the American public, for the record, for the greater safety of individual people, staff, but actually it's about our democracy. All of this has torn at the fabric of our democracy. It is a precious thing. It's something we have to lift up and protect. Mr. McCarthy should want to testify exactly what conversations and communications he had with the president. What was the president's state of mind? It's pretty obvious from the reporting and from my own work on the impeachment investigation and trial that Mr. McCarthy was in communication with the president, who was more concerned with the big lie than he was with the safety of his vice president or any of us, including Mr. McCarthy.
Pennsylvania Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, I appreciate your candor. I always do. Thank you so much. So you probably figured all those Trump-related conspiracy theories would have died down by now, but if you saw what happened at a Trump-supporting gathering in Florida,